Recording. Thank you. Well, hello and welcome to Diva's Two Cents Show. Today, I'm so excited to have a friend of mine, a colleague, a special guest. Her name is Tina Kadish, and she's a business coach with 20 years of experience, my goodness, in the world of talent. So please help me welcome Tina Kadish.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me here today, Diva. It's an honor
Oh,
to be here.
yes, I'm happy to have you. I am so happy to have you. Talk to me. My audience is here for you. Who is Tina Kadish?
Okay, so Tina Kadish started out in her career early on in the administrative world. However, she got into training and development. I was in talent acquisition, as you mentioned, and until I got laid off in the training and development space that I was in. And that was the first time that there was a lot of uncertainty with my career. I had always taken jobs, but I had never had a job taken away that I did love. So it really threw me for a loop, and I started a journey of trying to figure out what do I want to do, because I learned that I didn't want to be at the mercy of another company.
Mm.
So being laid off in my journey of self-discovery, I learned that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And so I started my business helping women to get clarity about what they wanted to do with their careers. Because in my research, over 85% of women are unhappy, they're stuck, they're unfulfilled, and they don't know what to do. So I wanted to be that guide for them
Mhm.
and turn it around
Mhm.
and have more women happier with
Ah,
their life.
wow. Since COVID threw everything to a loop a couple of years ago, and many of us, including myself, found other ways to communicate with our audiences. How do you find your industry in the coaching and finding these women and even mentoring to them? How do you find that has been different and has made your company actually have to change a bit?
Well, what I found is that a lot of women, more women now, are ready to reassess their careers, that they're saying to themselves, I need to do something different. I don't want to go to a job. I don't want to go to an office every day. I need to look at my career. And so more and more women, I think, are open today and want to make a change. And even if it's a career within a company, it's not necessarily entrepreneurship, but they are looking for that spark in themselves because they've lost that spark, I believe. And so if I can help them reignite that spark with their careers and really be open, because it begins in our mindset to be open to change.
Mm.
What can I do? How can I stay home and provide income for my family and have that flexibility and freedom to be with my family? Because during COVID, we learned that life is too short. At any moment,
Yeah,
you could lose
yeah.
a life.
Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. So when, you mentioned the word change and you mentioned mindset, and what do you find is one of the biggest obstacles that we as women have when we have to make different changes in our lives?
Well, it's fear. And that's the huge, for me, myself, even when I got laid off, I started my business. But then what I did was I went to a job because I didn't believe in myself that I could do this full time. So a lot of us women are afraid. They may not believe in themselves. They have that imposter syndrome that you might
Mm,
have heard of, that they just lack that belief, that confidence. They have doubt in themselves.
mm.
And so what do? They stay stuck instead of looking for options, looking to explore the options. So that's been the biggest thing for people.
Is that why you wrote your first book, The Freedom? Talk to me
I
about
did,
that
I
book.
did, I did. Because in my book, I talk about fear, I talk about mindset, I talk about confidence and how we stop ourselves because of fear. And so finding freedom is really having that faith, because I begin with faith in yourself. Do you believe in yourself to even make a change? And it doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey. It's working with coaches that can guide you, because we try to do it ourselves. That's another thing. We try to do everything ourselves and it doesn't work. You need to have someone that can support you, that guide you, to give you those ideas, those options to make it happen.
Did you find
It's
that
having
you,
that compass.
yeah, did you find you had obstacles writing that book? I mean, it's extraordinary. So, I mean, what was that journey
No,
for, like
no, it
for
wasn't an
you?
obstacle.
Mm-hmm. No?
No, it wasn't an obstacle because I really believed in freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I believed that other women, men and women, need to hear it, need to read it. Because, in my book, it's also, it's not just reading the book, but there's journal prompts in there. So it helps you to really journal out the thoughts that you might have. And it really makes you think. And I have a course, I created a course from my
Okay.
book,
Okay.
which really helps you to think about some things you need to make some changes in
Okay, well,
to get to
like I
that.
said, when you look at the things you look at, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I'm sure that you went from point A to point B, or from where you were at to where you wanted to be, and you had to make some changes. And just like myself, a lot of people know me with different identities. My book, as you know, is the embodying your identity for the life you want to live. So and I'm still in my last chapter, which I had to rewrite. But I found myself, even writing the book, having to change and shift my own mindset. So when you coach women, do you have any men in your practice, or do you just coach women?
I don't. I coach women primarily.
Okay.
However, I am open to men. However, I've been attracting more and more women, and because my story is women, I'm, being a woman myself, I feel that the challenges that we as women have, um, we stop ourselves more than I think a man. A man, I think, takes action, makes those changes. Not to say that they don't have those challenges in the sense of making that change, but I think it's different for women to
Okay.
make it happen.
Well, I know you've been through a journey yourself, which caused you to write your second book. Can you talk a
Yes.
little bit about that?
Yes. So in life, we always have our journeys. We always go through challenging times, good times, and not so good times. So my second book is about the loss of my daughter to cancer in 2020, and it's from pain to peace. How do we go from pain to finding peace? And when you lose a loved one. So this book is targeting moms and dads who have lost a loved one. Now, it could be a parent as well, it could be a spouse, but I focus a lot on my daughter. But in the book, it's a book about honoring the loss, creating a legacy from a loss. How do you have that mental strength to move forward beyond the loss? How to really truly go from the pain to finding peace within ourselves
Was that
from a
a
loss.
very difficult book? Did you write that during that period of time as you journaled, or did you write that after the fact?
I wrote the book the day she passed away. I said, okay, what do I do with this situation, this challenge? And I said, I'm going to write a book. However, what I first did was I wrote a magazine article 2 months
Mm,
after she passed away
okay.
to started the process. And then I said, I want to write my own book on this journey because other people need to hear it. Because loss is loss, and people are losing people, and people have lost loved ones during COVID. And she died, in July of 2020. So COVID was still going around, and she was in the hospital when COVID first hit, and I couldn't even see her for over a month.
Mm.
So the book was hard to write. However, it was healing for me because I put the words on paper, all of my thoughts that were in my head, and sharing my voice. Because in my book, I talk about having a voice. Finding your voice is so important during challenging times, during any time. But I focused a lot on the challenge in the book.
So you gave her a voice to her, really, a legacy for her, so that you, in as a result of the struggle that you went through that during that difficult time, you're able to heal and help others go through that journey. So that's awesome, because it's one thing to pick up a book, for my audience, it's one thing to pick up a book and say, this person is going to teach you how to repair this car. But until that person actually even knows how to drive the car, why are you going to listen to them? So I think, Tina, you bring uniqueness to these two topics between your coaching and then also helping women go through this grief process. How do people get a hold of you? It's amazing. If somebody wanted to call you, is it email? Do you have a website? Talk to us about that.
Okay, yes. My website is www.fromjobtojoy.com. You can have access to my books and my other resources. My email is tkadishcoach@gmail.com. You can connect to me there. I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn as well. And so connect with me. And I offer a 30-minute complimentary call.
Ooh.
If you want to learn more about how I can help you get back on track or get that spark back in your life. If you've lost it, you need to get it back.
Oh, yeah. Do you find that difficult, though, when you tell someone who's kind of down to get that spark back?
Yes. Because, we're so stuck in our jobs and we just don't see beyond it. We really, truly, you talk about identity, we put a lot of our identity in a job. We really do. And so we don't really think beyond that. But when you're going to a job every day, you're unhappy and you're just miserable. It's not serving anybody. So I want to help them to really get to the deeper of what is their why? What do they desire? So through my questions with them, I help them to uncover what they really want to create in their life.
That's wonderful.
So that's me.
Oh, wow. That's wonderful. I am so honored that you have come here to share this with our audience so that if anybody wants to, again, we'll put it in the chat how you can get a hold of Tina. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm indebted to you, my dear.
Thank you, Diva, for having me here and your listeners.
Yes, thank you. And that, my friend, I always say Diva's Two Cents. I have another show called Diva's Two Cents, and I always end it with, and that's my friends, it's Diva's Two Cents.
That's good. I love it.
Thank
you.
Recording. Thank you. Well, hello and welcome to Diva's Two Cents show. Today, I'm so excited to have a friend of mine, a colleague, a special guest. Her name is Tina Kadish, and she's a business coach with 20 years of experience, my goodness, in the world of talent